Morning.
You're toughing it out in your t-shirt.
Yes, I am.
Show off.
What can I tell you?
I think it's cold. I have on a jacket and a hat today.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I got coffee. Warms the soul.
There you go. So it's fasting day, so obviously we're not making breakfast. And it seems like we haven't fasted in a really long time.
We had, well, since last Thursday.
Yeah.
So that week's a long time.
A week's a long time for us, because Monday was a holiday, so we ate that day. So
yes, we did.
I'm not having a problem with it being a fasting day.
Not at all.
It's all good. How was your workout?
I had a good workout. I did legs. A bit of a marathon at the end because we're running a little bit late today, so I'm trying to get everything in.
I know. I came up to you and I was like, "You're almost done," and you were like, "No, I have a lot to do."
Yeah, so I still have a lot left.
But then you were like, "Oh, we got here late," and I said, "I don't care."
And I said, "You never do."
I want to leave on time.
Yes, you can get there late. But
I don't care if we get there late, but we have to leave on time.
Right.
So.
On a non-work day, by the way.
Right.
Yes.
I don't like to be at the gym. Plus, I was cold.
Got it.
All right. And what did you do today? You did legs?
Yes, I did legs.
And how was your workout? Like, what was the progression?
Good. I did leg presses.
I saw you doing them. How many sets did you do today?
Oh, let me count. Let me see. So if you actually count the sled with no weight on it, which I guess is still a set.
Still 118 pounds.
Well, so you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Same as you did last week.
Yes, 13 sets.
So I never do 13 sets of anything, ever. Yeah. If I do 5, it's a lot. I typically do 3 or 4. Never ever have I done 13 sets of anything.
Correct.
So I did back today, and I did some core. Right. So I finished with core yesterday, and then I started with core today, and then I did back. So I had a pretty good back workout. Yeah. Somebody came up to me, was complaining about his job at the end of my workout.
Yes, somebody who complains about his job every day.
He's pretty unhappy in his job, unfortunately.
But yeah, the job is, well, let's not go down that road.
We won't go there.
Right. Oh, by the way, folks, if you notice that we're pixelating, please let us know.
Please let us know. I know Facebook has been having drama actually not pixelating lately, so hopefully today it's fine.
Exactly.
We wanted to talk a little bit about oil today because there's this misnomer that especially olive oil and coconut oil and sometimes avocado oil are healthy oils. And truth be told, there's no such thing as a healthy oil.
Right. Yeah.
And here's why. All oil is processed food.
Right.
It just is. They have to press it and they have to process it. So thank you, Elizabeth, for letting us know. Okay. Because it's processed, that makes it not as healthy as the whole product, whatever it came from, olives or coconuts or whatever.
As a matter of fact, what he says in the book is that they basically take out all the nutritional value to get the oil.
Right. And oil is very, very calorically dense.
Right. It's 100% fat. I mean,
it has no nutritional value. It's calorically dense, and it doesn't contribute to you feeling full. Right. It just contributes to the mouthfeel of food, which is what we really like.
Right.
And so ideally, we wouldn't take in any oil. If you're hardcore forks over knives, plant-based, whole food plant-based, you don't eat oil in anything ever.
Right. And the whole thing behind calorically dense, I know we talked about it, but just as a refresher, basically, the more calorically dense a food is, the less it will fill you up, which is sort of like
the amount of volume is littler, so your stomach doesn't know it's full, and your brain, your body doesn't have the ability to measure calories in. It just measures volume in. And so if you eat something that's calorically dense, the volume is little, and your body says, oh, we didn't get enough food, we need more volume. Right. And that's one of the problems that we have in America, is that the food we eat is very calorically dense, which means there's a lot of calories in a tiny bit of space. Right. And our bodies and our brains don't have the ability to measure that. Right.
It's all it's all based on volume in the stomach.
Yeah, so absolutely. Good
morning, Kristen.
And you're welcome. So be aware that if you're eating oil, that it is a mouthfeel thing, and it's not helping you, it's not doing you any favors. Don't eat coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, obviously canola oil, because you think it's health food. Yes, it's not.
Yes, if you're using it because that's what you want to do to cook with, that's your own choice.
Fine, be aware.
But don't tell yourself you're eating one oil over the other because it's healthier.
Because one's not healthier than the other. And so people ask me, well, how do you cook without oil? And what I found is that if you reduce the heat, like say, for example, I want to saute up some onions. If I reduce the heat a little bit and I add either vegetable broth or water to it, and then really, pay attention to them, stir them, or put the lid on them, I don't have a problem. They cook just fine. I think oil makes it super easy because you can basically just pour oil in it and ignore it, stir it a tiny bit, and boom, you're done.
Yeah.
So that makes, and you can turn the heat up higher.
You can turn the heat up higher.
But if you add vegetable oil or water, you can cook your vegetables just fine. I've never had a problem with it without oil in it.
That includes browning them, so.
You can. You just have to pay attention because they'll burn. But I haven't had an issue not cooking with oil. The one challenge I have, and I've said this on here before, is I really like ranch salad dressing, which not only is not whole food plant-based, it has oil in it. So all around, that's just a really bad choice.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do. I found this book actually, Forks Over Knives This Way. Forks Over Knives Plan.
Maybe leave it like that for a second because people said they can't.
I'll set it up.
They don't see it long
see if it'll stay. It has recipes in the back for some salad dressings, so I'm going to try making some of those, and they don't have oil in them.
Right.
So I'm going to try making some of the salad dressings, and I'll let you know, and I'll post the recipes I make and my comments on them on the R&R Journey page. So make sure you've liked that page and go and check it periodically because Facebook won't show you stuff unless you actually go look at it.
I would think something like avocado would be a good thickener for a salad dressing if you're going to blend it. If you're gonna
and they do have avocado in them. And so I'll let you know. I'll let you know what I find. But yeah, please be aware that if you're eating oil, it's because you like the mouthfeel and you are adding a very calorically dense option to your food, straight fat, and it is not healthy. It's not good for your arteries. It doesn't do you any favors. There are people who say, oh, but what about the Mediterranean diet? And the studies are showing more and more the Mediterranean diet is healthy because the amount of plants they eat, they eat so much plants that it's not the oil or the fish that's making the actual difference when you start actually parsing it out and looking at it.
And they talk about that in this book, which she's referencing. They basically talk about they actually eat very small portions of fish, very small portions of oil, but a lot of vegetables, a lot of plants. And that's where the benefit of the Mediterranean diet is really coming from. Leave it to the Western diet to find something like that and say, well,
and
obviously, obviously it's the fish and the oil, so that's what we need to sell in this country. So let's make that the main focus. And then the fact of the matter is, and again, all the documentaries and all the research we see is, you can take any study and find that one little nugget that you want to promote something, and say that's what it is, and ignore the rest of the research.
Right, and then unless you read the research yourself, you have no way of knowing that that's what they're doing. Oh, Kristen has a comment.
It starts with food. Have we seen that one?
I haven't seen that one. I will add it to my my to-read list. My to-read list is getting very long.
Yes, we will definitely look that one up. Thank you.
But we also wanted to talk about, kind of on the same, although a different note, talk about alcohol some. I know we've talked about alcohol before.
What's that?
But I wanted to bring it up again because this book actually does have one page that it talks about alcohol. And it's funny because it's really hard to find anything around the plant-based diet space where they talk about alcohol.
Where they talk about alcohol, which is bizarre. I don't understand why, but
they don't talk about it much. But basically what they say on this one page is, in short, there is nothing health promoting about alcohol. If you do not presently drink alcohol, we urge you not to begin. That said, the most important thing you can do for your health is change your diet overall to plant-based food. So focus on what's the easiest to change. However, if you're ready to push toward optimum health, by all means, cut out 100% of the alcohol.
Right.
So basically what it's telling us is alcohol is not a health food. We like to tell ourselves, oh, red wine's good for you. Again, that was a very small study done on people that didn't have great health to begin with. So it seems that there's nothing about drinking alcohol that is going to be a positive. That's not to say we're telling you be a teetotaler.
I'm just saying.
Russ was like, I'm not giving up alcohol.
Once or twice a week, I will have a couple of glasses of wine or 2 beers. There's always 2. I never really exceed 2. Right? I either have 2 glasses of wine, or I'll have 2 beers, or in the summertime, 2 margaritas. And I'll have it once or twice a week. Right. And that's it. I'm not leaving that. I am not doing it. No.
At least for now, we'll see.
And of course, our opinion always seems to change on that stuff. We wind up getting stricter and stricter. But for right now, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And in my 20s, when I was playing a lot of volleyball, I didn't drink at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't.
Right.
And if I was out with friends, I might have a drink once every couple of months. Like it didn't appeal to me.
Right.
So I think for me, it would be easier to give up than it might be for most people. The thing that I found, and I think that a lot of people find this, it's not the alcohol so much that is something they want, it's the culture of it. Being able to go to happy hour and sit with Russ at a bar and chat with the bartenders we like, and like be out and be social. I think it's the culture, sociability of alcohol that people are drawn to more than the alcohol itself.
Right.
So I think if we can find a way to change the culture or change the way we look at alcohol personally, and be able to sit at a bar and have something other than alcohol and not feel like that's not meeting our needs.
And there's the challenge too, right? I mean, are you gonna have a soda? Is that any better for you?
No.
I mean, are you gonna have some kind of juice? Is that any better? I mean, the thing.
Straight sugar.
I mean, unless you go to I'm drinking water and only water, you're gonna be challenged regardless. So
in a social setting.
Right, in a social setting. So again, if it's not an everyday occurrence, and I know there's people out there that make it an everyday occurrence. We were talking to somebody recently that I won't say who because I just remembered. But they were talking about how basically a bottle of wine a night.
Right.
And that is not health food. You're not doing that.
It's a lot of empty calories too. So both oil and alcohol have a lot of empty calories. That's just the reality of them. And if you choose to do that, and that's the whole point, I guess, of everything we say on here is we are not medical professionals. We are not telling you absolutely this is what you have to do. What we're sharing with you is this is the knowledge we're learning. This is the way we're interpreting that knowledge for us and our lives. And you should interpret the knowledge however works best for you.
Right. And the other thing I'll just add one more thing about alcohol.
Okay.
And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. Drinking alcohol gives you what they call the munchies. And the munchies usually don't mean a salad. They usually mean the nachos, the chips, the whatever else the salt
carbs.
And the oils that make you want to drink more alcohol.
Right.
I mean, so that's why
they serve popcorn at bars.
Well, yes, or salty peanuts or pretzels.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So just be aware. Make wise decisions that are right for you. And don't just blindly go about your life. I guess that's the best advice we can give.
It's all about knowledge, right? It's about knowing what you're doing, and that's it. And then being aware of it, and then making decisions based on it.
Right. One piece of advice they give in this book to reduce kind of your calorie intake and the fats and stuff that you're eating is to have a baked potato before you eat anything else. Right. Just a plain baked potato. And don't be afraid of the carbs. The starch is good for you.
Exactly.
Or have a plain sweet potato, and that'll help fill you up, and it helps kind of eliminate the need for a lot of oils, a lot of fats, alcohol, that kind of thing.
And that's also,
and you can get a plain baked potato at just about any restaurant.
Exactly. And that's also true for if you're going out on a social dinner type of thing, and you want to try to stay on a whole food plant-based diet. Nothing says you can't have a baked potato just before you go out to eat. Right. You're already going to have some food in your stomach, so you're going to get filled up.
And you won't be eating all the bread and the chips and the whatever they bring to the table.
What I liked about this book, which I thought was fascinating when we were reading it last night, is it talks about going to different types of restaurants and how you can make those restaurants efficient for whole food plant-based. Now, they happen to talk about a lot of Asian cuisines and Indian
Japanese,
cuisines and
Chinese.
Thai, which can really accommodate whole food.
Because they have a lot of vegetables. Right. They also said most Mexican restaurants, and we found that.
Right, and Italian restaurants.
Italian.
They said most Italian restaurants will have a whole wheat or whole grain pasta. They may not put it on the menu, but if you ask for it, they will have it.
Right, and if you ask them to cook vegetables in broth, make sure it's vegetable broth rather than oil. That's an option if that's super important.
Right, and it also talks about if you know you're going to a particular restaurant, nothing says you can't call ahead of time and say, is this possible? This is what I'm doing. I'm meeting people there. I would like to have something that's whole food, plant-based. How can you accommodate me? And make recommendations to them. Can you make me some pasta with some steamed vegetables? I happen to like, and I know she's not a fan of this, but I happen to like pasta with vinegar and black pepper. To me, that's very tasty. It can be spicy, but it's very tasty. Yeah.
So, and they make a good point in that if you call ahead and you get really condescending attitudes, you know what kind of restaurant it is and what kind of challenge you're going to run into when you get there. And I've told you guys on here before, I've had situations where I go to networking events that are dinner events, and they only serve a vegetarian option, and it's loaded with cheese. And my gut won't process that much cheese anymore. And so I just, don't.
Right. And they also talk about being proactive with when you know you're meeting people out. Be proactive in selecting the restaurant. I mean, don't sit there and don't be the person that says, oh, wherever you guys decide is fine. You'll get familiar with restaurants that will accommodate you and make those recommendations.
Right. So Jennifer, you're right. Healthy oil is important, but healthy oil in a whole food, like nuts, seeds, avocado, as you pointed out. Avocado oil is a processed food, and it is not healthy because of the amount of the density of the calories in it. Not that you shouldn't eat it. You absolutely can, but don't eat it because you think it's a health food. It is absolutely not a health food. It is a straight fat, and it's processed.
And all the other nutrients have been taken out of it. Now, eating the avocado is fantastic.
Avocado is great.
And so the way to look at it that it talks about in this book is when it occurs naturally in an avocado, in an olive, the proportion from oil to all the other nutrients is the way it's supposed to be. It's the way nature intended it and the way your body's meant to absorb it.
When humans process
When we process it, we're making it concentrate, basically.
We screw up the balance.
Right. I mean, you wouldn't take, and I hate to use a sugar reference, but you wouldn't take lemonade mix and just spoon it into your mouth. You've got to dilute it by adding water.
Ugh. That's chemicals anyway.
Right, but the processed food is the concentrate. It's that heavy duty volume.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's our thoughts on oils, and if you want to eat them, I'm not telling you not to. Just be aware that it's not a health food. It does have high density calorie, and it's a mouthfeel thing for you more than anything else.
And I like the point too that when you know you're going to be eating a meal out or you're going to be eating at somebody's house, eat a baked potato, like you said.
Eat something before you leave.
Something before, so that you
don't have the munchies.
Your temptation to keep eating isn't there. You'll be satiated sooner.
Right.
So you can,
it's easier to stay on the path of whole food, plant-based, if that's the choice you make in life, if you're not starving to death when you arrive somewhere where they have whole bunches of other options.
And don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to be perfect right from the start.
You guys know we're not. That's why we say we're 90%.
Right.
There are people who are hardcore. We are not that.
I think we started at 80 and we keep creeping up.
We keep up. It is happening.
One day we may be 100%, but for right now we're not.
Wendy says, place in Chicago based on whole organic food. How wonderful is that?
When you're in big cities, you have these opportunities.
We have those options. We don't have them here in Delaware.
We don't have them here.
People in Delaware, I think we're crazy that we even eat this way.
Right.
But
yes. But that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you guys know of restaurants, definitely post them and share them that we can all know where we can go if you know of anything around here. So thanks for sharing that.
If we go to Chicago, I'd like to know where that restaurant is.
Absolutely. I don't know why anyone would go to Chicago right now. It's
not right now. We'll see you in the summertime. Don't take that the wrong way.
So we're going to go about our day. I'm going to do some more reading. I'm reading the other book I showed you on Monday, The Hacking of the American Mind. Very academically dense, talks about a lot of neuroscience, which I love, and Russ thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, this is the one she's reading to herself, not out loud.
I do read a paragraph to him now and then.
Yeah, it's important. I get the highlights.
But I'm really enjoying that book. It's an interesting book about how big food, big pharma, big tobacco, big government have made us believe things that are just absolutely false. Right. So as I learn more from that book, I will be sharing it with you.
Yeah, and you're a week away from starting your certification.
I am. The certification for whole food plant-based nutrition, blah, blah, I can't talk, starts on the 3rd, so I'm super excited about that.
I'll be getting the fringe benefits of that, and I think probably
so will all of you.
So will all of you, but down the road, I think I will also get certified.
Yeah.
But we'll get you certified first.
All right.
Got to get the genius in the family with the credentials.
Sounds good. So we're going to run off, and we haven't even taken a shower from being home from the gym yet, so we got to do that.
Right.
And get our day started and what that looks like.
Exactly.
So thanks for joining us today to talk about oil and alcohol. Please know that not health food, but if you want to indulge, be aware and do it wisely.
Yes. It's just all about knowledge.
Right.
It's about knowing what you're doing and not lying to yourself about it. That's all.
Absolutely.
Right?
So you're going to say bye?
I guess I'm saying bye. And so with that, folks, we will say eat real food, not too much, mostly plants. Have a great day,
one.
folks.
We'll see you tomorrow morning.